Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the markets, but mainly we're going to be talking about Bitcoin dominance, altcoin season, and key areas and indications on how to prepare. All right. So, first off, right, we can see it's a nice, beautiful green day in general, right? We can see many bubbles are green. I don't know what this bubble is, this AI 16Z. But you can see in general, very nice, up a couple percent. And that's just how it's going to be. One day green, one day red. In general, it should be fairly green over the next few weeks. I don't think anything is going to really explode 110%. But I do think in general, things are going to be going very nice. A couple coins will expand. And then during altcoin season, those coins will have a second expansion, while some coins will have their first massive one. And you know what? That's just the name of the game. If we go on the weekly, right, we can see Pengu is technically up. A couple coins are up, but nothing too crazy. We know overall, it's been up and down in December, right? October and November were generally the pumps, while December kind of slowed down. But historically, it always has. It always kind of has near mid December to Christmas time. Then things start happening and they start rolling, which makes sense because first of all, when we look at the charts, right? We are closing the yearly candle, right? We are closing the yearly candle. So, the next year is going to begin, and that's just a whole new different price action, right? Yearly candle is going to close. Obviously, it's going to close bullish, which means, all right, that's the green flag. It's going to be shooting up. I've talked about this a little bit before, but I'm going to talk about it again. We can see in the charts that we have this green, nice candle over here yearly. Then the next year, it pretty much sold off like what, 90%, most of it. Then the year after that, it was a recovery. Then 2020 was more recovery, and 2021 was the pump, right? So the same type of pattern, right? Pump big, dump most of it, recover for 2 years, and then, like you guessed it, we expect massive rallies, massive pumps. So this is the coins for the altcoins that are not in the top 10 for market cap. And I expect this to at least get to a trillion, at least get to a trillion, upwards of potentially of even 2 trillion, but that's more on the crazier side. For me, this is more in the realistic realm right over here, right? Somewhere in this green box, I think is where we're going to cap out. And the reason why I say this is because it is, based off data, based off speculation, we are expected to have 9 to 12 trillion in the market. And yes, most of it will be in altcoins, like Ethereum, Solana, and mainly in Bitcoin eventually, right? But we know things like to go down, right? It's going to go from Bitcoin to big caps to medium caps to small caps. Altcoin season is going to go crazy. So I believe we are going to be getting lots of the love. And, there's nothing that suggests that it won't happen, especially when we look at from the chart. So, look, exciting times. We are currently retesting off these bottoms over here, right? We can see we are retesting off these bottoms here. And what I expect overall in general is to go a little bit lower, potentially do what we have to do, price action, and test these highs officially, go a little bit lower, and then pump up. Now, it might not make any sense when I'm just drawing out, but trust me, right? This makes sense. It is a game of ping pong, right? We went up, we tested off this, we went down, we retested off this, we went up, we tested off all of this. And then I kind of expects us to, squeeze to the upside, of course, and have a big burst. At the current moment, ladies and gentlemen, we are still roughly around here, right? So we do have a few weeks left of buying opportunities. But after that, the risk to reward is going to be getting lower and lower, meaning you are going to be later in the party. You are going to be buying at higher prices. And you know what? You're going to have less margin for error because you are technically going to be aiming for smaller gains, right? Hypothetically, if someone buys somewhere here in the cycle and, they have a good chance to make good money, right? Good money, up to, let's say, an average 2.6 times. But we can see how in 1 week everything got wrecked. And if they were in this position, and let's say each altcoin dropped the exact same amount, they at one point would literally break even or even go negative. So that is why it is very, very important. But right now, for example, hypothetically, if you bought down here where we're currently at, right? Even if this dropped a lot, you would still be making almost 3 times your money. So it is very, very important to be buying now. All right. In general, it is important to be buying now. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm literally showing you what's on the charts. And I know exactly what's going to happen because the data, the candles suggest that we are going to have a big bang. Now, we are looking at Bitcoin dominance. For me personally, what I want and what everyone should want is for Bitcoin dominance to actually hold this area over here. Do something like this and create a newer high. Because if it creates a newer high, that's an indication that we are still going up. Now, like I said, we are in a 50-50 zone at this current moment because you can view it in multiple ways, right? You can view it as, well, we have a high here, we have a high here, and we have a higher low here. So we are looking to create a lower low. But if that fails and we start going up, we will create a higher high. So we are literally just waiting patiently. And like I said, for me, I think it might go higher. You want it to go higher. You want Bitcoin dominance to go higher because you want Bitcoin to pump more. Okay. You need Bitcoin to pump more if you want a bigger altcoin season. Right now, if things were to crash the way they crashed over the last, 2 months in 2021, from March to May, you still make lots and lots of gains, right? But the bigger the drop is, ladies and gentlemen, the more money you're going to get, right? For Bitcoin dominance, you want this thing to slam to the ground. And you know what? Personally, I would rather have it slam roughly what I suggest is going to be around 69 to 70%. If we slam from there, that's an extra gains. That's a lot of gains, right? That's extra 13% dominance. And, falling from roughly, let's say here to down here, that's a 40% drop, right? But if we go from here to roughly over here, that's a 26% drop. So, you know, I want it to create a higher high. I want Bitcoin to continue going up. I think Bitcoin will be going up. We just had a very bullish year and we still haven't had like the big, big expansion in my opinion. Obviously, we have created new highs and stuff, but I expect Bitcoin to keep going up. For me at the moment, this is, like I said, a game of ping pong, right? We went up, we retested off this, and then we were just ping ponging like this very, very nicely, right? Then we went to a big, big zone, right? We went to a very big zone. You can see this zone over here. There's lots and lots of candles. And then we went down to an also very big zone, right? A very big, nice support right over here. We can see, oops, my mouse does that sometimes, but we can see, right? We're on the weekly that we have a lot of resistance over here. We have a lot of support over here, and you combine them, it just makes a nice big support. Hence why we tapped over here. And it is just like I said, this whole market is just a game of ping pong. So I personally believe we will be looking to be making higher highs, which is what you want. And then eventually we will know when it slams, right? We will see the huge shift in momentum. We will see how price action will fail. We can see every time price action was going kind of up and down. Only at this point it looked a little bit worrisome, but then we had the big green candles of 2 weeks of big green candles, and that was just more confirmation. But here, right, we can see once we kind of got to this point when we dived, we were rejecting and rejecting and rejecting here for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. We were rejecting over here roughly 2 months of rejections, which just indicated, well, if we can't break for 2 months, we're never going to break. And that's why it slammed so heavy. We broke the trend, right? We broke the trend. Only if my mouse could work, that'd be very, very appreciative, right? So pretty much we had kind of a trend line like this. Some may argue like this, but let's just say like this. And we can see once, we had multiple confirmations. So I'm going to be looking for multiple confirmations of things selling. For me, that's not the most important because for me, it's more about where is altcoin season going to peak. I do have a few areas. My first area is over here, right around the 44%. Then we have this floor over here of roughly 39 to 40%. And then we even have all the way down here potentially of 35 and lower, right? So we got to treat this the same way as we got to treat a market, right? As any crypto, we got to look for certain indications. And for me, those are the main three. I think we should be slamming at least to 40%, but I have to see how price and this Bitcoin dominance reacts off this zone first, then the second zone, and then the third zone, right? If it just kind of looks very, very bearish, right? Just the way it was looking over here, right? Just massive, massive sells, then it's just going to make life easier. But once it starts kind of going sideways, this way, that way, it gets a little bit trickier. Not impossible to know, but in general, I want it to be a smooth sailing, at least to 40%. And then probably at that point, I'm going to realize, all right, we're near the peaks, right? I'm going to be looking at, individual coins too. And you know what? I'm going to have to decide when to cash out. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you so much. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.